He's doing cops here.
So let's jump to the first question or the first topic to talk, and feel free to talk whoever you want, although we're going to be addressing each one of you, but if you want to add anything, please feel free. The first topic, as I was saying, is for the actors. You three entered the series in its 4th and 5th season, I think. So were you a fan of the series? Did you pursue the casting actively? Like, I want to be there, I want to be in that series?
Yeah, I mean, I was a big fan of the show. I was just like you. I was at home watching my favorite show every week, never having a clue that I could ever have a role on my favorite show. And it was something I didn't pursue. It was there was an audition notice came out, and I submitted. I was submitted for that, and I auditioned. And next thing you know, I'm working on the biggest show in the world, and working with some legendary filmmakers, and it's really special. It's I've hit the fan lottery.
Para los tres actores, ¿erais fans los que vosotros tres habéis entrado en 4ª y 5ª temporada? ¿Seguíais la serie? Y la respuesta de Josh es pues sí, yo era un gran fan, justo como todos vosotros, pero nunca me hubiera imaginado cuando veía mi programa favorito que saldría. Y de repente salió un casting para un nuevo personaje, me presenté y me cogieron, y es un gran privilegio poder estar con legendarios como todos estos.
What about you guys?
Yeah. I've been a fan since the very first episode, that Halloween episode 2010, and I remember watching all of season 4 right before I got the audition for when I came on, and it was so funny because I believe I might have auditioned for Gareth a year earlier based on some of the scripts that I've been given, and it was just the most amazing thing because when I got the news that I got the part, it was on my birthday. It was the most amazing sensation. Yeah, it's the best thing ever. And then a week later, I was actually on set meeting these guys, and it was the most amazing thing. Yeah.
Yo seguí también desde el principio, desde el 2010, y realmente no me lo imaginaba tampoco. Al final me dieron las noticias de que había pasado el casting, de que me habían cogido justo en mi cumpleaños. Así que increíble, y he podido estar con todos estos monstruos.
Menudo regalazo. What about you, Michael?
I was a fan of the show as well. I wasn't current on the show because I was shooting the show at the same time we were shooting Southland the same time that this show was airing. So I would always have to catch up. And we had finished Southland, and they had come actually to me interested, but I didn't know. All of us, when we audition, we don't know what we're auditioning for. They write different material because they obviously everything's very secretive. They don't want everybody outside to know which characters are coming up. So I didn't really know what I was auditioning for until they expressed serious interest in really pursuing me, and then they let me in on who he was, and I was able to figure out, what it meant to the world of the graphic novel. And but the fans already knew. Actually, they even based on the loose casting that they had sent out, the fans had already said they're already looking for Abraham, Rosita, and Eugene. So it was it was a really interesting process, and couldn't be happier.
Bien. También fui un gran fan. Yo seguía, pero como estaba filmando Southland, no podía verlo en el momento, sino que tenía que ponerlo al día después. Y cuando hicimos los castings no sabíamos para qué personaje, porque no querían que trascendiera. Y bueno, finalmente cuando ya demostraron interés me dijeron para quién, y sabíamos que había muchos fans que pedían Abraham y Eugene de la novela gráfica que salían en el programa.
See, what these guys don't know is I cast myself on the show. Every time we needed a walker, I'm like, I know just the guy. I didn't have to read. I didn't get any fake sides. I'm like, I think I know somebody that would be really good for this part. So that's the way you should do it. You should just put yourselves in whatever. You don't even need to audition. Just be like, I'm just going to do this. That's what I would do.
Lo que no sabe nadie es que yo mismo bueno, en muchas ocasiones quise ponerme a mí mismo, porque bueno, siendo uno de los caminantes no tenía que aprenderme líneas, no tenía que hacer nada, y bueno, cada vez que había uno nuevo decía, oye, conozco a alguien que lo podía hacer muy bien, que soy yo, y esa es la manera de hacerlo, te metes a ti mismo.
Perdóneme, ¿palamitos de maíz?
That's a very good Spanish.
So this is a question for you, Mr. Nicotero. Did I pronounce it properly?
Nicotero.
Your name? Nicotero. Okay. So this show has a very special visual identity, a very strong one. How did you work with on that with Kirkman from the very beginning of the series? How did you work that?
We used Night of the Living Dead as our sounding point. We wanted something that was raw, that was gritty, that was bleak, but also scary and terrifying. So we used a graphic novel, panels from the graphic novel, to launch the show in the first 6 episodes. But we were, up until the time that The Walking Dead was on the air, people didn't know what the rules were for zombie stuff. We sort of educated the public. I grew up watching zombie movies with George Romero, Night of the Living Dead, Dawn of the Dead. So
Working in them.
And working on them. That was my first job, was a zombie movie. So it just took 30 years for everybody to catch up to where I was, because I've loved zombie stuff all my life. So it was a fantastic opportunity for me to show to the general public a genre that I had been a fan of for my entire career.
Bueno, realmente lo interesante es que trabajamos con Kirkman, pues sobre todo sobre la novela gráfica. Queríamos algo que fuera muy crudo, algo muy oscuro, y lo conseguimos utilizando los paneles de la novela gráfica para los primeros 6 episodios. Pero nadie sabía cuáles eran las reglas, sino que yo me basaba en las películas de George Romero, que yo había visto de joven, incluso llegué a trabajar ahí, fue mi primer trabajo, y todo el mundo un poco me tenía que seguir a mí porque yo era el más inspirado, porque yo había querido, me amaba las películas de zombies desde el primer principio, y era la persona que más conocía ese género para traerlo a la serie.
How good is this guy?
It's amazing. It's amazing.
And that, I didn't say any of that. He's just making it up.
Nada de eso, ¿eh?
He's making it up.
Greg, sometimes, not in your case, but sometimes Eddie makes it better. You know,
Good.
so it
We're
improves
counting
it.
on that.
Bueno, normalmente se han desexualizado un poco todos los personajes hasta la llegada de Aaron, donde se ha visto claramente que era gay desde el principio de su presencia en el programa. Y la respuesta de Ross es, bueno, yo creo que es muy importante que podamos presentar el programa a todo tipo de distintas opciones. Kirkman ya lo dijo desde el principio, que este es un mundo real que estamos presentando y no debemos de tener a la gente en cajones, sino que deben de ser lo que son. Creo que han trabajado muy duro, contrario a lo que habían dicho algunos críticos, para que los personajes fuesen realmente reales. Y creo que la sexualidad de él es bueno que exista, pero no es importante. Esto es un personaje que ha estado en África, ha estado delante de señores de la guerra y traficantes de armas y demás, y por lo tanto no hay que ocultar su situación, el hecho de que sea gay, pero tampoco es lo más importante, sino él como personaje es lo importante.
And Eugene, because we've got one for Eugene. In the universe of The Walking Dead, being alive is a question of both luck and strength, we could say that. Eugene is, in Eugene, those two factors take weird shapes, because he's strong but hasn't really got survival skills, and he's maybe too lucky. I mean, is he blessed or something?
He was blessed in that he met Abraham Ford. Eugene is in a very unique position, you know. He doesn't have the survival skills that maybe someone like Daryl or Michonne necessarily have. Obviously, look at him. But he has a very sharp mind, and he's extremely smart and can figure out a situation very quickly. And so for him to tell the lie about having the cure for the disease was just another tool in his tool bag of survival, using his mind. And he kind of did the math very quickly when he came up on Abraham Ford and realized, this is something that I can use to benefit me, because I know that I'm not long for this world. I know I'm not going to continue to be lucky, because someone without survival skills can only be lucky so many times. But the thing with Eugene is he just lacked the confidence. I think he does have the survival skills in a physical sense. And we saw that in episode 609, where he finally stepped up. He finally made the decision that, okay, Rosita said, you don't have to help. And he said, no one gets to clock out today. This is a story that people are going to tell. And he stepped up and he had the confidence. And I feel like Eugene's a new man at this point. And so he may not need luck as much as he used to. I think luck is good for anyone. Aaron and Abraham would both appreciate some luck, as any of our survivors would. But I don't think Eugene is reliant on that as much as he was in the past. And that's a good thing.
Bien, la pregunta para Josh acerca del personaje de Eugene. El mantenerse vivo, el sobrevivir en este mundo es una combinación de suerte y de fuerza. Y aunque Eugene se ve alguien con fuerza, pues no es alguien que tenga esas habilidades para poder sobrevivir. Quizá ha tenido mucha más suerte que otros. La respuesta de Josh es de que tuvo la gran suerte de conocer a Abraham al principio de la situación, y esa es la suerte que tuvo él, de ser protegido por Abraham. Él no tiene las habilidades de Daryl o Michonne, pero mira cómo es, ¿verdad? Pero si pensamos, es un tío muy listo, muy inteligente y sabe cómo analizar cada situación. Y cuando les mintió diciendo que tenía la posibilidad de encontrar una cura para esta enfermedad, pues eso fue su manera de sobrevivir. Y él se dio cuenta de que con Abraham él podía tener alguna manera de sobrevivir con esa mentira. Eso es lo que pasó. Le faltaba confianza, pero finalmente en el 609 sale esa confianza. Cuando Rosita le dice, oye, no hace falta que tú salgas a luchar. Y él dice, no, todos aquí tienen que cumplir, y creo que a partir de ahora es un nuevo hombre gracias a esa nueva confianza.
Now they're watching you like watching movies, they're eating popcorn. It's like so fun to watch. Greg, you've been there from day one, and how does production-wise it evolve the series? I mean, you started out at $5 and a bunch of prosthetics, and then you have but it is not that a huge production. I mean, you don't have that, from what we read, that amount of money to work with. Actually, it looks like it, but actually the budget is not that high compared to other productions. Actually,
well, what's fascinating is the amount of money that we put on the screen. The fight for Alexandria episode, we shot in 9 days. I mean, there have been movies that didn't look as good as that episode looked, that the performances weren't as moving, the visuals weren't as compelling. It was always a small story about a group of survivors, and every once in a while we experience the world outside of Alexandria. I always talk about Alexandria as the oasis, and in season 6 we really got a chance to see outside of the walls and begin to see what threats and what advantages are outside. So we're constantly expanding the world. It's a tremendously ambitious show, and we've had directors that have worked on Game of Thrones, that have worked on other big shows, that come in and say that our show is more complicated to do because of the complexity of the number of characters and tracking where everybody has to go in the series. So we're proud, and I will tell you that every single person on the stage and everybody that comes to work, Andy Lincoln and Stephen Yun and Lauren Cohan and everybody, they come with the same passion today that they did the first day. And that's unheard of in film and television. So the fact that I feel the show is better every season because we all feel a responsibility to make the show better. So.
Bueno, la pregunta es, parece ser que vuestro presupuesto no es muy alto y... Sí, vuestro presupuesto, no sabía si estaba hablando en el idioma correcto. Vuestro presupuesto no es tan alto como os parecería, con todo lo que sois capaces de hacer. ¿Cómo empezó todo? ¿Os dieron $5 y anda, vas a comprar una prótesis? Pues nada, la respuesta de Greg es que desde el principio, por ejemplo, ahora en el episodio donde se lucha por Alexandria, eso lo filmamos en 9 días. Hay películas enteras que no quedan tan bien en la pantalla como esos 9 días que hicimos nosotros. Es decir, es una historia pequeña, pero somos capaces de darle vida. Para nosotros siempre hablamos de Alexandria como un oasis. Y en este sexta temporada, estamos empezando a ver más allá de los muros de Oasis y ver cómo estamos expandiendo nuestro mundo. Tenemos muchos temas ambiciosos que llevamos a cabo y ha habido directores como uno del Juego de Tronos que han venido y han dicho que es mucho más difícil hacer lo que hacemos nosotros por la gran cantidad de personajes que hay. Pero todos los que vienen, pues Andrew Lincoln, Stephen Yeun, todos los que vienen desde el principio vienen con muchísimas ganas, muchísima pasión y nosotros lo que queremos es que cada episodio sea mejor que el anterior. Bueno, hasta ahí vamos. Vamos a hacer un juego. Vamos a imaginarnos que estamos en un apocalipsis con zombies y todo, y tienes que escoger un compañero para estar contigo en medio de todo. Sea aquí en Atlanta, Madrid, donde sea, pero solo puedes escoger a uno. ¿Quién sería? Bueno, entonces bromeando, Ross ha dicho que Donald Trump. No he oído por las veces el por qué. I didn't hear why you wanted Donald Trump, but just
So I can push up,
para que lo pueda dentro del grupo de zombies.
Zombie bait.
Exacto. Después, Greg ha añadido que se llevaría a Louis C.K., el cómico y actor, porque me mantendría riéndome y nos lo pasaríamos muy bien en medio de todo eso. Le han preguntado a Michael y dijo que todavía no lo tenía, que hablar a Josh antes. Josh responde diciendo que se llevaría a Michael Cudlitz con él, porque se lo pasarían bien, se reirían mucho y le protegería. Y algún comentario como hasta ahora, ¿verdad? Entonces, finalmente, Michael ha dicho que también le escogería a él porque le mantendría muy ocupado.